things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. We're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back up. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening, Watchmen and Watchwomen. Wow, another day. Watching what's going on. Not a lot today, really. I mean, there has been, don't misunderstand me. But as far as things to be concerned with, I didn't really see anything too out of whack, so to speak, today. In the headlines as far... I mean, I did. There are things to... Don't misunderstand me. I'm talking about specifically like an imminent threat type of situation. I am not seeing that, which is a good thing. That's not to say that there's not, but I am not seeing that. And I felt like it was important that I come on and and kind of get that out of the way first, because that's an important thing, especially for those of you that are preppers. It's important intel that you need to know. Not seeing anything that is super, super concerning involving the Capitol or anything like that. That's not to say that there's not going to be something. But I kind of don't, if something happens, it's going to be a false flag. I don't think that we the people are that stupid. Well, we might be, but I just don't see that happening. I saw different video clips of what it looks like around the Capitol building, and you would have to be pretty stupid to walk up on there and try to do something stupid. Because, man, they've got that place locked down. And I kind of don't see anything as far as some type of a militant group or something like that. I would suspect that if anything would happen, again, on the we the people side, I think it would be something isolated. I think very likely either, lone wolf or maybe just 2-3 actors, but not anything major. So I wanted to get that out of the way first and foremost, because that's important. Second order of business that I want to discuss is I want to thank you. I want to thank you dearly. I don't know who all prayed for me last night, but yeah, the Father heard it loud and clear. He heard it very loud and clear. I often say, when it comes to prayer, when it comes for asking for things, that he won't necessarily give you what you want, but he's pretty good about giving you what you need. And obviously I needed it, and last night I had a dream. And they say you dream every night. I don't know. I would debate that. I definitely don't remember dreams very, very often. In fact, it's like once in a very sporadic while. I mean, it's I would say I might be fortunate to have a dream once a month that I remember, and that might even be very liberal with the amount. I do not at least remember dreams very often. Last night I had one. Last night in my dream, it was short. It was only one, and it was only one thing in that dream, and that was my boys. In my dream, I had the opportunity to embrace my boys for the longest amount of time since I've seen them. And that was incredible. That was absolutely incredible. And in my dream, I was bawling like a baby, and just holding them and hugging them with everything I had. And it was a lengthy embrace. The other thing to report on that is that any other time that my boys had been in a dream, when I woke up, because I would wake up immediately after the dream, and when I would wake up, I would be very distraught and very out of sorts. Pardon me, I'd be upset. That was not the case last night, because I did wake up immediately after that dream, and I felt nothing but peace and calm. And that was pretty surreal. That was pretty surreal. So I thank you to those of you that did pray for me, and you should know he heard it loud and clear. So thank you. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what other things. Give you a little plant update. They're looking awesome. The lettuce is looking great. I'm seeing much more activity on the onion side of things. The tomatoes looking great. The tomato plant looking good. I mean, looking good. So I'm very thrilled about that. I was able to get a pH meter, and just a little cheap one, but nonetheless a pH meter. So I've got that dialed in now. My pH is correct, and I'll tell you what, even the difference in between when I got the pH corrected, because our pH is really high here, and that's coming out of my Berkey water filter. So, and of course I run both the carbon filters and the PF2 heavy metal filters. I think they're the PF2s. And so even out of that water filtration system, I have a high pH of 8 to 8.5, which is a bit high to try to grow plants in. So I got my pH leveled down to around 6 to 6.3, which is, I like to be like 6. And I even noticed a huge difference when I got that pH dialed down, and, throughout the day. Now, from earlier today to now, I mean, they have shot. I mean, the size of the leaves on the lettuce have just exploded. The tomato plant has grown considerably, and the true leaves on it are starting to form very nicely and getting bigger. And then on the onions, I'm starting to see much more activity in the rock wool cubes, because I've got 9 of them. And for a long time there was only one I saw activity, and then another one started. And then I was stuck at that 2 for a little while, and now I'm starting to see all but maybe a couple of them. I'm actually starting to see some positive activity. Now I also I did have the rock wool cubes yesterday. Yeah, no, I did this yesterday or today. It was today. Was that today that I worked in there and put those in the little cups, or was that yesterday? Okay, it might have been. I don't know, but I put it in the hydroponic seedling cup things, for whatever they're actually called. So they were just in the bottom of the tote that I'm using as a reservoir, and I just had maybe about a half an inch of water in there, and then had the rock wool cubes setting in that tote. And then I got them transferred into the seedling cup thingies, and got that all set up how it needs to be through its growth cycle. So noticing much better activity from that. So that's an update on the plants. Looking good. And I'm so excited about this. I truly am so excited about it. Let's see if there's any other updates I can think of as far as we're concerned. I was going to show you one thing. I actually find this humorous, because our numbers, our subscriber count has been falling on YouTube. And I often talk about the separation of the wheat and tares. It's one of my favorite parables in the good book. And we're seeing it here. We're actually seeing it here. We're seeing people drop off, and there is something else interesting that we are seeing, right? We are losing subscribers, and I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, YouTube's doing it. No, I think people are leaving, and I'm good with that. Separate those wheat and those tares, baby. And here's the interesting thing, and I'm going to show you. Even though we're slowly going down subscribers, as of right this moment, they're saying 4,489. We're down, it says right there underneath of it, we're down 14 in the last 28 days. So down 14 subscribers. But check this out. Views up 20%. Watch time hours up 55%. So we are absolutely separating the wheat and the tares. And that is awesome. That is what I want to see. I don't care about this number, right? This number could be 5. I don't care. What I want is people that are actually looking for the truth. I want that wheat. The hell with the tares. I want that wheat. And we're getting it. And that's awesome. That's incredible. So I hope that trend keeps up. I do. We're not a monetized channel, and don't intend to be. So that's why you don't see any of that kind of stuff going on. We're not a monetized channel. So, anywho, I wanted to show you that because I thought it was kind of interesting, and I like it. Kind of cool. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the news today. Like I say, first out of the gate, I was talking about that I don't see any kind of an imminent threat, and I don't. I don't. My hope, man, is that after tomorrow, the conspiracy theories at least slow down a little because they're still running. I've saw several different outlets now reporting that this whole martial law thing and, Trump taking back control and all this crazy stuff, that it was pushed off till tomorrow now. So now we've had 3 weeks of this going to happen and being pushed off. At some point, folks, we got to let it go. Now, I'm not saying that we got to let go the idea that an election was possibly stolen, okay? I'm not saying we got to let go of any of that. And there's a whole load of other stuff that I hope damn well we don't let go of. But when it comes to these conspiracy theories, yeah, we need to let go of that. We need to let go of that. Because, come on, are we kindergartners or are we adults? Plain and simple. I'm going to be an adult. And whether it's right or not, whether it's justified or not, tomorrow's going to happen. Tomorrow's going to happen. And today, Trump put out a farewell address. Now, if that isn't a wake-up call, but Mike, it's 6,450 D3 chess. No, it's not. Grow up. I don't know what the future holds, but I can tell you this. Tomorrow morning, Trump is going to get on a plane as planned, and he is going to leave. Biden is going to take a stage somewhere and participate in an inauguration. Plain and simple. Again, I'm not stating whether I support that, whether I like that, or anything else. I'm just stating the facts. That's what I'm here to do. I'm not here to pander to anybody. I'm not here to make anybody feel good. And that's exactly why we are separating the wheat and the tares right now. And I'm good with that. I am absolutely good with that. Because, you know what? We've got a lot on our plate. We've got a lot on our plate. Again, whether it was justified or not, whether it was an honest election or not, none of that is going to make a bit of difference for us to sit here and talk about or conspiracy theory about or anything else. Let's see. Yeah, and survive anything. There you go. Bingo. Transition of power. And they're just showing a show of force. Exactly. That is exactly what that is a show of force. No doubt. No doubt. And that's kind of what I was thinking from the beginning when I saw all this craziness and the 25,000 troops. I mean, that is insane. Absolutely insane to have that Capitol locked down on that level. But you hit the nail on the head. It's a show of force. And we're seeing this even being played out with the different things that are happening, the other news stories that are happening and all that. There's a major show of force going on. Major. And some of the stuff is absolutely absurd that is happening. I mean, and you're going to see it in the headlines. Some of it is absolutely absurd, including a lot of the stuff we've already seen. Book deals getting canceled and... now My Pillow Guy is having companies that are no longer carrying his products. Now they're saying it's because declining sales, but we all know the truth. And I'm not saying I support the My Pillow Guy, because I don't. That guy has spewed rhetoric for so long. This ain't the first. Let's not forget this guy was was convicted, charged and convicted of defrauding his customers. Okay? So let's not forget that. And that happened many, many years ago, but something to do with his buy two for one price deal or what, I don't know. There was something janky with it, and he wound up losing a lawsuit over it. And it was kind of a scammy way of doing things. So you got to take that in consideration. But we are seeing a lot of stuff happening, and this is not good. What is going on is not good. And it's actually kind of scary, because to try to take as best peek as we can into the future, man, what are we looking at? What are we looking at? Let's see. Yes, there is, show me more graves. Yeah, there is, definitely. There is more military activity going on in the air. There was video that I had saw earlier that was posted on a Patreon channel. I believe it was down in Alabama. And it was Black Hawk helicopters right outside of a truck. It looked like a truck stop. And, it looked like they were doing quick rope exercises and whatnot. So there's a lot of concerning stuff. But the amount of activity, as you said, is insane. We have most people refer to it as the doomsday plane. That has been in the air. That is kind of concerning to me. We've got that going on, with, of course, some refueling tanker that's circling in that particular area, one of the areas where it's flying a circuit. There's a lot of activity, a lot of military activity, and I honestly don't know that it all necessarily has to do with the inauguration. In fact, I don't think it does. I think that we are in a pivotal, wow, I'm just completely making up words, pivotal moment right now, because to other nations, we have to understand this. To other nations, right now, we look vulnerable and we look weak. And we have to understand that right now, okay? Looking from the outside in at what is going on in this country, man, and I've said this before, this is prime pickings. This is prime pickings. We've got a society that at large can't get along whatsoever because their ideologies are so set, and their lack of humanity, lack of compassion for one another is so rampant. Right now, I mean, when I say this, there's a difference between what things appear and the way things are. Because let me explain this. I think if there was to be an outside attack on the United States, I think you would see a lot of these petty differences and bickering and crap disappear. At least for the most part. I think it would be the most unifying thing that we have seen definitely since 9/11. 9/11 unified this country like you wouldn't believe. Unfortunately, it didn't last for a really long time, but people were so unified after 9/11. I was probably, at that point in time, the proudest I'd ever been of this country in my entire life shortly after 9/11, because of how much unity there was, how much compassion and empathy for one another. It was that part of all of that was a very, very good thing. Of course, 9/11 wasn't, but the unity that it caused was incredible. And I think the same thing would happen. Even with all the differences, even with all the strife, I do think that people would drop a lot of that to work together. I do. At least I hope. But other countries looking in right now, man, we do look kind of weak. Let me take a peek over there. Well, survive anything on the queue, folks. There's a couple of reasons there. Number one, yeah, to be misled for that long, and many of them are still hanging on. You know, that's sad. That's sad, especially from a mental health standpoint. That's sad. But secondly to that, what's going to happen to them folks once the Biden administration is in and going full force? And I mean, you've got, it's in the headlines, you've got the mayor of D.C. now, because the National Guard had to go under this vetting to make sure that there wasn't going to be some type of inside operation against the inauguration on behalf of members of the National Guard. So they vetted them, and since they vetted them, I know one report said like 2 of them had been removed or whatever, and then I think another report said something about 12. I don't know if that's total or if it's 14 total or what, but now you've got National Guard members that are being at least removed from that operation because I guess things that they had found, some of them they are claiming are associated with far right-wing radical groups and all that, and expect to see a lot of this come in the future. Expect to see a lot of this stuff in the future. And now you've got the mayor of D.C. saying not only should they be removed from the operation, but more or less anybody that in any way had supported that this election was rigged or was a fraud should be completely removed out of the National Guard. So what do you think is going to happen to the Q folks? Not good. Now, I don't remember when Trump took office, and if I'm wrong on this, I certainly want corrected. But I don't recall the Trump administration going after anybody as far as underhanded, dirty, sneaky tricks. I don't recall that. And if I'm wrong, I want to be corrected. However, I can off the top of my head tell you about a man that essentially had his life ruined from the Obama administration simply because he asked a question that he wasn't supposed to. Man by the name of Larry Connors. He was a anchorman for one of the local St. Louis news stations. Incredible man, awesome man. And he asked a question to Obama, and I can't remember all the details to this. The information's out there. You can Google it. Again, his name is Larry Connors. And he had asked a question, and as a result of that, he wound up going through an excruciating tax audit and wound up losing his job with that news agency. And he had been an anchor there for, a long, long time. An incredible news anchor, an incredible man. And, imagine all he did was ask Obama a question that Obama didn't like. He put Obama on the spot. And Obama ruined his life. Well, now, the morality is much lower than what it was when Obama took office. So that's what I'm saying. I'm a bit concerned what's going to happen to a lot of these individuals that were staunch Trump supporters or people that were vocal about this election or selection. I can't even begin to fathom what's going to happen. And it's concerning. It's deeply concerning. because that's not how we should operate. That is absolutely not how we should operate. I mean, we are seeing an attack on our civil liberties like never before. And I think this is only the beginning. I think starting tomorrow, we are going to see an attack on levels that this country has never seen. I hope I'm wrong, but it doesn't appear that I'm going to be. Out of the gate, Biden's got a list of executive orders that he wants to put in place, and it's already starting off not so good. So, and I agree there, Survive Anything, about the swamp was never drained, and it's in control. I don't think it ever lost control, to be honest. I really don't think. I mean, take a look at the last 4 years. Did it ever really lose control at any time? You know? So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things. Trump had to fight bogus claims about Russian collusion, and that's still not over. You would think that would have been put to rest, right? There should be people right now in Gitmo over that. And nada. And they're still going after it. They're even trying to attach Russia to what happened at the Capitol building on the 6th. I think it was the 6th. They're trying to attach Russia to that. So, and I mean, it's just absolutely absurd, right? I know I've been really hard on conservatives and their conspiracy theories, and, you know, it is what it is. Hey, if you don't want me to be hard on you, stop lying. But the left isn't any better. I mean, my gosh, look at it. And right now, they're just running wild with their theories. The left is on all this different stuff. You've got stories that can't be substantiated. And you want to see how stupid the left is? I'm going to show you how. I forgot to mention this earlier. I'm going to show you how stupid they are. Because we all know that Facebook is operated by the left, right? I think we can agree with that. And so I got nabbed today on Facebook. There you go, right there in front of you. I put this image out as a poster. I created a post on YouTube earlier today on this, but I want you to think about this. All right, let's talk about this. So the article that I had shared said 13 Israelis suffer facial paralysis after taking Pfizer COVID jab amid influx of reports detailing adverse effects. Okay. That story, by the way, can be verified time and time again. Not just the 13 Israelis, but all over the world. This type of thing can be substantiated time and time again. So what does the independent fact checkers, I don't know who the hell they're independent for, but not too independent, they say the fact check, this is good. And by the way, it's a post share. They're claiming that it's missing context. It's missing context. So let's go with this. The fact check says people who receive the COVID-19 vaccine aren't more likely to develop facial paralysis than people who didn't receive the COVID-19 vaccine. So are you telling me that those 13 Israelis were just as likely to be walking down the sidewalk and smack facial paralysis, right? Are you saying that they had the equal chance of suffering that facial paralysis just doing nothing, driving their car down the road, walking down the sidewalk, whatever? This is how silly it is. This is how silly it is. So, I mean, really? Now, this is the second time I've been nailed by Facebook for COVID-related articles that are absolutely 100% substantiated. So this is what we're looking at. And here's the concerning thing about this. Biden's not even in office yet. That happens tomorrow. You know, I was in conversation with someone. We were talking about here locally. And there was a debate going on in one of the local Facebook groups about businesses. And I'm not going to really get into deep on this because I don't want to cause anybody any problems. But we got to talking about it, and what is ridiculous is that the media has been nonstop trying to fearmonger to death. And again, like I've said many, many times, if you are personally concerned about COVID-19, then you need to take precautions. You are responsible for your own safety and security, and I've always said that. If you are concerned about it, I'm concerned about it. I'm concerned about it. You know, I don't go anywhere. Jen goes shopping and whatnot. Jen wears a mask when she goes. Not a cloth mask, not a surgical mask. She wears an N95 mask, right? Because she's taking precautions, and I highly appreciate it. She's taking precautions to try to prevent herself from getting it so that she doesn't in turn bring it to me. Now, she only goes out once, twice a month. Not much. Yeah, we got an exciting life, right? And so the chances of it getting introduced into our home is pretty slim. We don't have visitors, and, pretty much the only other people other than each other that we see is our landlord and our friend that takes Jen to the store. So we've got another friend here local that we that had helped us move and stuff that, we may see here or there. But and she's just as concerned about it as what I am, probably even more so, to be honest. So, you know what I mean? We live in a pretty safe little bubble here. Why? Because, man, I'm telling you, if I get an even remotely serious case of it, I'm done. Guaranteed. I'm done. I can't take that risk. But if you're healthy and you're not concerned with it, well then, in my opinion, you shouldn't have to be forced to do anything. You shouldn't have to be forced to close your business and let it just rot away and be destroyed. You shouldn't have to be forced to put on a face covering. You shouldn't have to be forced to take a vaccine, because this is the United States of America. Now, on the same token, I don't want to catch no bullshit from anybody because we choose to protect ourselves. Because that's an issue in this country right now, too. And we need to understand that this is supposed to be a free country. And even though our government doesn't treat it like that, we should at least be decent enough citizens, decent enough patriots to be liberty-minded ourselves. So that should go both ways. I shouldn't give anybody crap for not wearing a mask, nor should anybody give Jen crap for trying to protect me and wearing a mask. So, that's the way it's supposed to roll. Unfortunately, it don't. But, anywho, it's ridiculous. And my concern is, where I was going with this, is we've got an insane governor here in the state of Illinois. And he has been, I think, largely kept in check by the Trump administration. Yeah, that's about over. And Biden has already announced, and I want to make sure I don't add to any kind of fear-mongering here or anything like that, because I've reported on this already, that one of the executive orders he wants to put in place immediately when he steps in is a 100-day mask mandate. Now, let me be clear on this. At this point, he's not saying for everyone everywhere. He's saying federal property. So he's not saying anyone anywhere. He's saying a 100-day mask mandate on federal property. Okay, which is a very, very big, stark difference in between everywhere and federal property. So that's something to remember. What's that? Which one? Oh, trying to think. What state is that? Survive anything? I know the name. What state is that? I don't remember. Um, if you tell me Pennsylvania, dude, I'm gonna die. I can't keep my governors and stay. I actually try not to. um, oh, California. Okay, Jen just looked it up. California. Well, I'm sorry. I am really sorry, dude. There's not many states that top Illinois, but you're one of them. I'm sorry, brother. Yeah, California and New York, they definitely outdo Illinois. And I'm getting schooled on Pennsylvania as well. I got schooled pretty well on Pennsylvania today on our Facebook page for the Watchman News. I didn't know just how bad off Pennsylvania was until people were Pennsylvania splaining it to me, and yeah, it's crazy. I don't mean to laugh. This is serious. It is truly serious. But what else am I going to do? You know, what else am I going to do? We've got to fix this. But that's going to take unity, and that's going to take a whole lot. We've got to fix this. We truly do got to fix the problem in this country. And at the same time, protect the intent of the founders. That is the really tricky part. Protecting the intent of the founders and cleaning up the mess at the same time. But it can be done. We just really have to go back and understand what the founders' intent was, and try to build a plan from there. Because we have to try to do this in a way that we don't. There's no dictatorships going on or anything like that, because that's absolutely not what the intent of the founders was. But at the same time, we've got to put our foot down and say enough is enough. So how do you do that? Well, that's going to take a lot of work. That's going to take a lot of work, a lot of discussion, probably a lot of arguments, disagreements. Wait a minute, that's how this country was founded now, wasn't it? So, all I care is that in the end, when the dust settles, that we've re-legalized our Constitution, and that we're on a better path. Because right now the path that we're heading on isn't much of a path. It's more like a cliff. And we've got so many things going on, and a lot of it has nothing to do with this election per se. They're things that have been a long time coming, and I think they're about to come to a head, like the dollar crashing. I think the dollar crashing is literally right around the corner, as in like any moment right around the corner. Looking over at the chat one moment here. Yep. DM, when you say that about the BLM and stuff, I firmly know what you're talking about there. I watched a lot of that stuff going on when the Bundys were dealing with their ordeal, as well as many other ranchers out west. Let's see. Yeah, and I was making sure I was reading that correctly. Sorry for the dead air. I don't have my glasses on. I'm sitting there cleaning them right now. So it took me a little bit to read it. Yeah, I mean, this whole trafficking thing is just nuts. And that's just another part of the layers and layers and layers of this country that have to be dealt with expeditiously. The problem is the government is so embedded. In fact, they're rooted behind a lot of this stuff. And it's going to take a lot. It truly is going to take a lot to get it out of there. We've got, two ways to do this. We can either sit there and try to surgically remove the evil out of our government, or we wipe the slate clean and start over. What's the best course of action? Well, I can give you my opinion, My opinion is to wipe the slate and start over. But, man, is that a tricky situation. Because, after the moment you wipe that slate, it's going to be hard to guarantee that you're going to replace it back with a carbon copy of the intent of the forefathers, without it being co-opted and turned into a communist nation as example. So a lot of big challenges. As far as like surgically removing, I don't even know if you would be successful in that, because there is just so much evil and corruption in our government. I think it's, the moment that you remove one evil root, I think you would have 2 or 3 more take hold, and that is why our country is having such a hard problem righting itself, is because of how deep that corruption is. And we've reached a level in this country to where corruption has been there for so long and so deep that they've actually formed the laws, and not just formed the laws, but put the people in positions to be able to protect those roots, so to speak. And the laws protect those roots. The judges protect those roots. I mean, everybody involved, the investigating agencies protect those roots. So even being able to get to one of those evil roots is a challenge, and then removing it is almost an impossibility. And then when you think about that being one single root out of, tens or hundreds of thousands, if not more, man, it's a challenge. So I do think that it would be easier to clean that slate, chop the tree down, and start regrowing it. But, again, you have to be very careful of that so that it's not co-opted during the process of regrowing it. You don't want your hickory tree turned into a maple, but this is where it starts. Discussion like this. Instead of banter back and forth, instead of people fighting one another all over a political party or political ideologies, this is where it needs to start. Individuals, American citizens, patriots like you and I, discussing this. And that's the only way we have a chance at fixing this. The only way. And it's going to be a long road. I think that we do have a hard road ahead, no matter how we slice it. I think it's going to be rough. And so just hang in there. It all comes down to the same stuff I've been saying over and over and over and over. Make sure you are ready. Make sure you're prepared. Because if you don't have food to be able to make it through the rough spots, you're either going to have to bow down or starve or what have you. And when I say bow down, that may be to the government. That may be to individuals that do have food. Whichever. But, and that's only one cog to the machine there, being food. A lot of stuff. And I hope people are prepped, and I hope people are ready. I really do hope people are ready, because it is going to be a rough ride. So, I was looking at reading again. Instead media, you're probably talking about, I'll say his name, I don't care. You're probably, because that son of a bitch tried pulling me into it. You're probably talking about, what was the name of the Oregon paper? Well, I know what you're talking about, and I know the Weasley little that you're talking about, and that Weasley little tried to pull me in there, all because we did an interview. If you look back, we did an interview with the Final Four at the Malheur Wildlife Refuge. We were one of 2 news organizations that got to do an interview with those individuals, David Fry, Sean, and Sandy Anderson, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the 4th person, but we were one of 2 news organizations that actually got an interview with them, and so that guy tried to tried to implicate us. Tried to implicate us. Tried to say that we were more or less that we were in on it simply because I picked up a phone. Because I picked up a phone. So yeah, I didn't reach out to do that interview. They reached out to me, and that was because we were one of few news organizations that really wanted to get the truth out, and that was willing to give them a chance to speak, not to lead the conversation, but to let them conversate. And so they reached out to us, and I was honored. And so, yeah, what's his name? Les or something? I can't remember what his name is, but yeah, that guy, he's a trip, man. That guy's messed up. That guy is severely messed up. But yeah, I know who you're talking about in the paper and the whole 9 yards. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, it's oh, no way. I'm sorry, dude. I'm so sorry. Oh, wait. Are you female? It looks like you might be female. So, I'm sorry for calling you a dude. Anyway, yeah, that is, that's a nightmare. Man, I'll tell you what, my marriage and stuff was a disaster, but, yeah, I'm feeling for you. Anyway, let me run through some normal stuff here, and then we'll get to some headlines, because we're already like 53 minutes past the hour. So, and there was actually quite a few headlines today. There was several headlines today. I don't know if that was her phone. I think that was her phone, not mine. Yep, I do believe. No? Huh, I don't know. Anyway, let me run through this stuff. You have a sip of tea. Okay. Sorry about that. Let's see. We'll run through the normal stuff. Amazon affiliate, we're up to 1247. I appreciate those that participate in that. I truly, truly do. I do see that another item or two were ordered, so thank you. That's awesome. Anyway, down in the description of the videos, you will see a link for an Amazon affiliate. Also at thewatchmannews.com in the top right, you'll see the same link. And that takes you to Amazon, just like going any other way. And when you make purchases, those items, they cost you the same thing. You don't notice any difference. But we get a commission for the sale. So it throws a little bit our way. It certainly helps out. All those little bits add up at the end of the month, as you see. And hey, we're not getting rich, but it certainly helps out. And we appreciate every bit of it. So please consider us, if you do shopping on Amazon, to use our affiliate link. We also have a Teespring store. Best way to see what we have going there is go to thewatchmannews.com. And by the way, I have a possible update here on that. Nothing's in stone yet, but I'll tell you anyway. But anyway, see what we have, The Watchman News on Teespring. Go to thewatchmannews.com. Scroll down on the home page. Right now we have 5 different designs. So if you see something that you're interested in, click on the image. It's not just t-shirts, there's tote bags, there's all kinds of stuff, coffee mugs, hoodies, all kinds of stuff. So if you see a design you like, click on that image. That'll take you to Teespring, where you can make your choice there. Now, I am going to give you a little update. This is not a Watchman News thing, okay? But I'm going to give you a little insight on something that Jen and I have been talking about very seriously today. We have 5 websites. We don't just have one. We've got 5 websites. And one of our businesses is known as Disabled by Design, okay? And that's what we have been on Etsy, and I believe we sold some on eBay under that name. So Disabled by Design is another one of our ventures that has been lying dormant. We haven't been doing anything. We still got the domain name. We still have, all the goodies. So today, one of Jen's dreams has been to design T-shirts, to make T-shirts. And so I do believe we're going to go full force in that. Again, it's not going to be under the Watchman News. And largely the shirts are going to be geared towards like humor and motivation for disabled individuals. And that's what it's basically going to be about. That's in fact what the name of the business is for, Disabled by Design. It's intended to be motivational. It's intended to help lift people's spirits. And so I think we're going to go full force, and I think we're going to start designing a bunch of not just T-shirts, but it'll be all the stuff, coffee mugs, stickers, all the stuff that Teespring offers. And I think we're going to do this. I think we're going to make it happen. So I will keep you guys in the loop as we go through the motions of getting this done. We've had the domain name for years. And so, and I've had websites up. I don't even know if there's anything there right now. There may or may not be. I would have to look. Disabled. Hang on. I'll have to put it all the way in here. By design.com. Make sure I spelled it right. I did. Yeah. I'm forbidden. I don't have a website there right now. It's just it's a blank slate. So I am forbidden. No, we own it. It's ours. So I'll have to get that put up. But yeah, that's us, Disabled by Design. And if you go to our Etsy, that's what you'll see. Let's see. Hang on here. Let me pull this out because I don't know what page that's going to bring me to. And, oh, really? Going to make me do all this stuff. 1 second. It's only going to take me a second. Yeah, there we go. Bing. Ah, get back in there. There you go. Disabled by Design. That's us on Etsy. We haven't had anything listed. I just mentioned the other day that I did put up. I've got one wallpaper background for a computer that we put up there. But that's us, Disabled by Design. And we are going to, there's the wallpaper. I'm going to be adding wallpapers. We used to do a bunch of stuff for promoting the band Blue October, but yeah, they became Nazi on that kind of stuff, so we backed away from that. But so we are going to hit Teespring, and we are going to go full force at it. And we'll have the products listed on disabledbydesign.com, so they'll be there. And I'll keep you guys in the loop on that. So just a little bit of an insight as to what we've got going on the back end here. So let's see. Oh, yeah. Lastly, we have a PayPal donate link. That's probably about the best way to help out. That link is in the description of the videos as well as at thewatchmannews.com right there, the donate button. You click that, it takes you to PayPal or donate link or donate page link, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can do it as a guest with a debit or a credit card, but I always let people know it will say Transforming Disabilities up top. It also says Purpose, the Watchman News donation. That way you know you're in the right place. And you're probably wondering, dude, how many personalities do you have? Right? Because you've got Transforming Disabilities. You've got Disabled by Design. You got the what the hell are you up to? Here's the thing. I was trying to structure and organize our different ventures in an organized way. And so basically everything we do, whether it be the Watchman News or whether it be Disabled by Design, we've got one that I haven't really developed yet, but it's there, called Operation Father's Rights. We've got, help me out here, we gave up Heaven's Nectar Vapes. Help me out here. We've got 5 websites. Gosh, ain't that bad when you can't even remember what websites you own? We've got 5 websites, but anyway, they all work under the umbrella, as I call it, of Transforming Disabilities. Oh, that's one of them, by the way, Transforming Disabilities. So there's only one I'm missing. But anyway, There you go. And that's why you see so many different names. It's just kind of an organization kind of thing. So, but it all comes back to our mission. And what we want to do is eventually build a business big enough that we need employees. And our mission, our base mission, is to reach a point to where we need to hire employees. But our number one company rule is that we can only hire disabled individuals. That's our number one company rule, and we're going to stick to that. So that is why we work under the umbrella of transforming disabilities, because that's actually what we want to do. That's our goal. That's our mission, is to help disabled individuals live a little bit better life, not only monetarily, but just in every way, if we can possibly do it. And that's what our goal is. And that's why we work under that Transforming Disabilities umbrella. We just haven't gotten anywhere big enough yet to be able to really do that, to be able to employ people. But that is our intent. That is our goal. And I'm determined we're going to make it. I'm determined we're going to make that goal, and I absolutely can't wait. Like I say, I want to provide an environment for employees that they can't wait to get to work, that they are so excited about get to work. I mean, I want to do crazy, stupid stuff. I want to have Nerf baskets all around everywhere where, people's got Nerf balls, Nerf basketballs. I want to create a fun environment that people can enjoy. So not only they can make a little bit more and make a little better life for themselves that way, but as well as spiritually and emotionally help improve their lives, just because, hey, they deserve it. They deserve it, And if somebody's fought the odds like that in their life, and they're willing to carry on that fight and take it a step further to try to better improve their lives, I want to give them the best opportunity and the best experience to do so that I possibly can. So that's who I am. That's the horrible, horrible, terrible me. So anyway, just to explain a little bit what Transforming Disabilities is about. Okay. COVID numbers. Right now it says 1,821. I'll refresh it real quick to see if it changes. Nope, stayed the same. Sometimes it changes, sometimes it don't. Yesterday they're saying for new cases was, make sure I'm on the right here, 138,178, and yesterday for fatal cases, they're saying we went all the way down to, making sure I'm on the right one, 1,345. So, on a downtrend, yes, expected to see it go up either tomorrow or the following day, because as you can see, that is typically the trend of the way it goes. So, our little zip code here, we are up to the wrong, what? Oh, I don't know what I was on. Oh, I was on the county over next to us. 1,810. And was it 1798 yesterday? You would have to watch yesterday's monologue. I want to say it was like 1798. If that's the case, we went up 12 in the last 24 hours. So, and that's total confirmed. Let me make that clear. That's not fatal cases. That's total confirmed. But when you consider, and I've been wrong, I keep saying our little town's like 13,000 people, and we're not. We're just under 10,000 people. We're smaller than what I kept saying. So, over 10%, well over 10% of our town has tested positive. That's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm not saying that, oh my gosh, the entire town's dying, because that's not the way it works. But still, the infection rate, that's pretty crazy. All right, another sip of tea here. And let me run through this. So last night, I believe after the show is when I shared this, and it's titled, it says, Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi suggest Putin ordered Trump to launch Capitol siege in unhinged interview. That's part of what I'm saying. You only thought the Russia collusion crap was over. You only thought. I don't think it's going to be over yet. I think they're going to just keep on and on and on and on. Have a vape here real quick. Like I say, we've got quite a few headlines. There was a lot of headlines for a 24-hour period. Okay, now it's stuff that I put out from this morning. Nearly 1/3 of COVID survivors in England re-hospitalized, and over 12% of them died within 5 months, a new research claims. 2 people in India die after receiving COVID jab as Bharat Biotech says vaccine is too risky for some. But yeah, don't worry. Facebook will straighten that out. Uganda accuses Washington of subversion after U.S. envoy tries to visit captive opposition candidate Bobby Wine. Russian gasoline imports surge after lifted moratorium. Russian newlyweds handed a lengthy jail term for treason and spying for NATO member plead with Putin for presidential pardon. COVID-19 circulating at a worrying level, says French health minister, but stops short of recommending third national lockdown. Pardon me. EasyJet summer bookings jumped 250% on hopes of lockdown restrictions easing. Turkey slaps Twitter, Periscope, and Pinterest with advertising bans and vows to fight digital fascism. Could use some of that here. National lockdown will last for another 6 to 8 weeks, UK cabinet minister suggests. UK health secretary self-isolating after COVID-19 close contact. Heavy snow causes deadly pileup involving more than 130 cars on a Japanese expressway. 160 active military personnel detained in Turkey over links to Gulen terrorist organization behind the 2016 botched coup, says reports. No side effects. Italian ambassador in Russia gets Sputnik 5 jab and says attempts to politicize vaccine issue is deeply regrettable. A Swiss government calls on voters to reject nationwide burqa ban in March referendum. Arson destroys 4 UNICEF Rohingya schools, if I said that right, days after blaze burned down Bangladeshi camp, leaving thousands homeless. Yeah, I'm reading with one eye here. I got a microphone in front of the other eye. Russian policeman under house arrest reportedly suspected of selling confidential flight information to Bellingcat, says RBK sources. Ever tried to read one-eyed at a distance? That ought to be a song, One-Eyed at a Distance. Doesn't that sound, that would be a good tune. I was one-eyed at a distance. Yeah, I can't sing. U.S. Central Bank is the serial killer of small businesses, and I'm the serial killer of music. Anyway, that was said by Max Kaiser. Russia will ignore Western appeals for release of opposition activist Alexei Navalny, says Putin spokesman. Police chief baffled as to why police officers aren't at the front of the COVID-19 vaccine queue. Who will Trump pardon as pundits and activists continue to make the case for Assange? Joe Exotic's reportedly on the list. Well, like I've said, I hope Assange is. I do. I really do think that he needs to be pardoned. I think what's going on is ridiculous on so many levels. Let's see. And by the way, if you pardon Joe Exotic, come on, man. You got to get Assange. Let's see. Canada scrambles to save Keystone XL pipeline expansion before Biden administration scraps it. U.S. falling short of its own democratic standards and has no right to lecture others, says Russian parliamentary speaker. 1 in 8 people in England had COVID-19 antibodies in December, new figures reveal. Satanists herald important win for religious freedoms as pentagram joins recognized faith symbols in Aussie hospital. It's completely absurd. And then we go from that end of the spectrum to this end. Putin takes a plunge, Russian president among thousands of Orthodox Christians braving icy dip in freezing waters to mark the Epiphany. Biden picks transgender woman as assistant health secretary. Which I will leave that alone. You know what? When it comes to somebody that's supposed to be leading up a health organization, don't you think that they should both be A, at least somewhat physically healthy, and B, certainly mentally healthy? I'm just saying. Commandos and paratroopers, Iranian army launches massive drills near mouth of Persian Gulf. Sorry, I butchered that, and it's kind of an important headline. Yeah, that is a bit concerning. EU to give flight clearance to Boeing 737 MAX next week following similar moves in U.S. and Brazil. IEA cuts global energy demand outlook as renewed lockdowns weigh on fuel sales. Gazprom warns investors that Nord Stream 2 could be canceled as Trump announces more U.S. sanctions in parting gift. A trial of former French PM begins over alleged international arms deal kickbacks. A cheeky prank or sign of end times, Internet gets confused by bizarre fake website offering corporate-sponsored COVID jabs. I'm so tired of it being called a jab. Germany may tax American gas imports in response to U.S. sanctions against Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Communist leader Zyuganov doesn't consider Navalny to be an opposition politician, says he works for American financial interests. I don't know about that. I don't know a whole lot about that guy, but I think there's been a lot of crazy claims on all ends of the spectrum there. Sorry, having a vape or two. Lather, rinse, and repeat. U.S. Fed will crash the stock market like in 1987, a strategist tells Boom Bust. I don't know. I think it's going to be worse. I think it's going to be far worse than anything that happened in 87. I think it's going to be far worse than anything that happened in 2008. I think we're probably on par for something more similar to the Great Depression, if not worse. WHO must reform to ensure faster, better pandemic response in the future, says co-chair of panel on crisis handling. Brotherly connection between Moscow and Kiev will see friendship eventually restored, says Ukrainian opposition leader Medvedchuk. I'm sure I butchered that. A Missouri woman tracked down her brother's suspected killer and then murdered him. I can't really say anything bad about that, especially when you look into it a little bit more. That wasn't the only one that she's lost to murder. So she lost, I believe it was 2 other brothers, I believe. Didn't mean to open it in a new window. Hang on. By the way, police said she sent a text to her dead brother afterward, letting him know that she had avenged him. I mean, I get it. Let's see. She was also struck by tragedy in 2016 when their younger brother and cousin, Jaden and Montel, were shot and killed while sleeping in their home at 57th Street and College Avenue. So this isn't the first time. She lost another brother and a cousin from violence beforehand. So, the only thing I can say is if by chance, if some crazy chance you're listening to this broadcast and you happen to wind up on this women's jury, please look into and tell the other jury members about jury nullification. Jury nullification. Please set this woman free. That's all I can say. Foes on the ground, but friends in space. American astronauts on ISS give their food to Russian cosmonauts after their supplies run out. That's awesome. That's awesome. That is the American spirit. That is American patriotism. It is. It is. I thank those astronauts. Madrid declared a disaster zone after Storm Filomena. Oh, I'm sitting there pushing the trigger on my e-cig. It freaked us all out here. Filomena hammers the Spanish capital. Whose fault is that? Establishment cyber police drive Parler off the internet and act surprised when it works with the Russians. Yeah. See, here's the thing. People that are determined, they're going to find a way. And oftentimes when you push them away from one thing, they're going to come back. And I'm not saying that we should just let anybody do anything, but we need to really weigh the pros and cons, and we need to really think about what those pros and cons are. Because whether it's the Parlay site, whether it's MeWe, whether it's any number of these other sites, people are going to find a place to go. And up until we have absolutely 100% crackdown and censorship in the country, that is going to continue to happen. So it is what it is. A giant Jurassic shark fossil unearthed in Germany was most impressive fish of its time. Apparently I upset the dog too. It happens, man. It happens. U.S. expands sanctions against Nord Stream 2 project targeting pipelaying ships and Russian firms. Oh, I was getting a dirty look because of the noise of the e-cig. That's classic. We've got the best dog. She is beyond incredible. Yeah, she's got more attitude than we do. It's awesome. Scotland's First Minister says national lockdown will remain until at least mid-February. Oh, she's eating. I thought she had one of her rawhides and was pretending it was my head, because she does that quite often. Millionaire Jeremy Clarkson sick to the teeth as Brits winging, I don't know if that's supposed to be whining, I don't know, about school meals in the UK and unleashes online rage. Well, winging, and you look at it, it's whinging, wings, I don't know. 2 National Guard members removed from inauguration duty over militia ties. Scientists closer to finding motor neuron disease cure after discovering how to repair damaged nerve cells, says a study. The WHO panel discouraged and frankly disappointed by global COVID-19 vaccine rollout plan. Germany extends COVID-19 lockdown, makes masks compulsory amid fears of new virus strains. McConnell points finger at Trump in Capitol riot. Pompeo says China's policies on Muslims amount to genocide, which, man, you have to understand, that could very likely be a pretext for war as well. I've been seeing a very strong pretext for war being laid out with Iran, and we're starting to see it for China as well. Let's see. Feminist activist endures howls of derision after tweeting idiotic take on Trump departure. CIA Director Gina Haspel resigns a day before Biden inauguration. Biden's Treasury pick Yellen urged to use sanctions more aggressively than Trump administration. So to think that, this strife between us and other nations are going to just whittle away because the Biden administration is just going to give in to them, I don't think that's true. And if you have paid attention, Biden is a warmonger. So I don't see things being all peaceful and lovely. In fact, I think Trump did more for peace than many previous presidents. And I think now the military-industrial complex is just going to be back full force and be given largely free rein again. Bavarian court overturned statewide open-air alcohol ban imposed under COVID-19 curbs. Olympic swimming champion apologizes for role in Capitol riot, but leftists are still demanding that his medals be stripped away. Stores drop My Pillow after CEO pushes election conspiracies. A U.S. virus death toll tops 400,000 in Trump's final hours. You see how they had to throw Trump into it like that? It's crazy. A U.S. soldier arrested over alleged plot to bomb American troops and attack New York City 9/11 memorial. CNN, this is a trip. CNN airs guide to deprogram MAGA supporters as cult expert claims entire country needs post-Trump help. The movement we started is only just beginning, defiant Trump says in farewell speech. And there's nothing wrong with what he said. Period. 12 U.S. Army National Guard members kicked off inauguration detail for alleged extremist ties. That's what I was telling you about. And I don't know if that includes the two prior ones or if that's in addition to. Ex-Guantanamo chief prosecutor calls for domestic war on sedition, suggests that GOP congressmen more guilty than Gitmo detainees. You see where this is going? Not a good precedent. All right. Goldman Sachs shows best in decade performance as underwriting profits more than double in the last quarter of 2020. See, folks like this are doing great. How about you? Not so much? Russian consulate in New York says dozens of its phone lines were cut off as Americans cite technical difficulties. Google extends Trump's YouTube ban for at least another week as Borat actor urges permanent bans to stop the hate. Biden team announces Gender Policy Council to eye rolls online. Gonna become a crazy country, folks. With time running out, pressure grows on Trump to pardon Assange amid reports aides persuaded him not to. Pharmacists charged in an attempt to ruin COVID-19 vaccines. Media promotes Dutch designers' gender-neutral playing cards, but critics see only jokers. Trump declassifies binder of materials related to Russiagate probe, but caves to the FBI and keeps saucy bits secret. D.C. mayor calls to terminate National Guardsmen with conflicting views before inauguration. Request machine guns for security. Absolutely insane. And there are no more headlines after that. So usually there's like at least one or two. again, second night in a row, I made it to the monologue with no additional headlines. So I don't like it when it's quiet like that. It is kind of concerning, but I am going to take this opportunity to get the heck out of here and get my trash out, because it's trash day tomorrow, and relax for the rest of the evening. So I hope everybody has a good evening. Stay safe tomorrow. Please get prepared. That's the best thing that you can do. Be prepared. There's a lot of the stuff that we have absolutely no control over, but you do have control over your own safety, security, well-being, and to an extent, your future. To an extent. So anyway, have a good night. Thank you for coming. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. We hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.